I know that you're always scared. Tell me something's like, listen, I'm mine. Do you have that something that I need in mind? Love me, baby. Tell me what I wanna hear. Tell me that you love me. Love me, baby. Tell me what I wanna.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is going to be about domestic violence and issues with, the black community and domestic violence, and people making jokes about it and people not taking black women seriously, because for some reason black women are always the butt of a joke. So I'm going to clear that up, and then I'm going to be talking about my own experience with domestic violence. So I'm a little bit late on this topic. This article was posted as of July 24th at 11:37 a.m. from TMZ. Right here it says, Megan Thee Stallion, doctors operated on her feet, treated for gunshot injury. Megan Thee Stallion's injuries to her feet after Tory Lanez allegedly shot her were so bad she had to go into the operating room, TMZ has learned. Sources connected to the investigation tell TMZ that the rapper's hospital records show she was treated for a gunshot injury when she was admitted to LA Cedars-Sinai Hospital. That was shortly after police pulled over Tory's chauffeur-driven SUV around 4:30 a.m. on July 12th. We're told Megan told doctors she was barefoot when she heard a loud noise and immediately felt pain in both her feet, and she said she initially thought it was from stepping on glass. Instead, our sources say Meg underwent a surgical procedure to remove bullets or bullet fragments from her feet. As we've told you, Megan says the incident has left her hurt and traumatized, and the LAPD is still investigating Lanez for assault with a deadly weapon, but so far he has not been charged. As reported, according to TMZ, video of the ordeal showed cops pulling over the SUV with Lanez lying face down on the street and Megan tiptoeing gingerly, leaving bloody footprints with each step. Our sources say Tory allegedly shot Megan in the feet as she exited the SUV on heels of an argument that erupted in the SUV. He was arrested and booked for possession of a concealed weapon and the handgun cops found in the vehicle. It's unclear if police have seen the hospital records yet, but if so, it could be a big step toward charging Tory in the shooting. Now, here I'm going to have the clip where Drea is making the stupidest comment of the year. I mean, this year's already been stupid, but I mean, she top 5 for stupid. Idiocracy, Drea's top 5 right now. Megan Thee Stallion calls Drea out for joking about gun violence in Tory Lanez. And I will get into that article after this clip. Please stay tuned.
Protecting you.
I predict
I'll take it.
that they had some sort of Bobby and Whitney love that, drove them down this Snapped-esque type of road. And I'm here for it. I like that. I want you to like me so much you shoot me in the foot too. Like,
But as long
What?
as...
Whoa!
Wait, no, that is very Drea-like.
Drop a
man.
grenade. What the? You want you what?
I want you to like me so much that if I'm trying to get out the car and you're like, no, sit your fucking ass in the car.
repeats.
And I'm
She
like,
repeats.
no, nigga, I'm fucking getting out the car. No, you're not.
He shoots
Bah,
you in
bah.
the foot. Yeah, yeah. You gonna fucking shut that nigga.
No, I'm not going
in
nowhere.
this moment,
How you gonna...
Drea just went viral. guys.
Yeah. I'm just... Look, and she's looking like, okay. Like, okay.
Yeah, they laughing because they know she's stupid. I mean, no offense, but I mean, what? And it's ironic to me that he said, yeah, that is very Drea-like. Because he already know. It's them bird brain-esque type comments that be coming out of certain people's mouths yeah, she should be keeping them type of comments to yourself. You're going to make a joke about domestic violence and going to call it a Bobby and Whitney. But that's two different things. She has lost her, I don't even know. She ain't lost her mind. Here's an article that reads, sometimes it's best to keep our thoughts to ourselves. Basketball Wives star Drea Michelle learned this lesson the hard way when she stopped by the Weed and Wine podcast, hosted by Stilo Brim and Chris Rienecker. In the episode, which was posted Wednesday, July 22nd, Michelle shared her opinions on what was the cause of the altercation between rapper Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion, which reportedly led to Tory Lanez shooting Megan in the foot as she was trying to leave his vehicle. And she says, quote, "I predicted they had some sort of Bobby and Whitney love that, drove them down this Snapdesk type of road," Michelle says, referencing the alleged abusive relationship between the late Whitney Houston and her husband Bobby Brown. And again, she says, in quote, "And I'm here for it. I like that. I want you to like me so much that you shoot me in the foot too." Glamorizing an alleged abusive relationship while cracking jokes about a victim of gun violence. Not a good look, Drea. Now, for that article, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for that, because I couldn't have worded it any better. And it honestly came as a surprise to me, even though it shouldn't have come as a surprise because it is Drea. However, you would think people would know boundaries with respect and a grown woman. Let's look up how old she is, okay? I'm doing it right now. She's 35, that's what I thought. So she's 35 years old, and she doesn't have a filter. I don't know why. This is concerning. A lot of adults these days don't seem to really have that thing called a filter, and yet they're the most hypersensitive people on the planet. You can't say nothing to them, but they can say anything out the side of their face, okay? And I actually am a little appalled that she said this about Megan, like this was some type of joke, because Megan is the cool girl, the sweet girl, cool with everybody, has no beef with anybody. Megan came on the scene in the game saying, "I don't want any beef with anybody. I want everybody to see I'm cool with all the girls. I want to include everybody." And it shows with these photos right here, Megan and Dre are together because Megan initiated a friendship. So you would think as a friend, you would have her back instead of trying to make sport of her situation and laugh at her with people on a radio show. But and mind you, Drea is, she's at least 1.2 times Megan's age. Megan's 25, Drea is 10 years older, she's 35. So you would think you would want to look out for her as well, being that you're the older person in the situation. But with people's brains nowadays, I guess that's not it. But aside from that, why even make domestic violence jokes? This is not a joke. She could have died. Her life could have ended right there for no reason. No reasons that we know of. And people are beating her up over this, and her own quote-unquote friend is making jokes about it. And this is what I'm talking about by black women not having no defense. And this is in my previous videos. You guys can go watch. There's no defense. No one protects them. No one seems to care. They become the butt of the joke. And the domestic violence. I just did a video on the domestic violence scenario, and I will be showing some more of that evidence shortly. Please stay tuned. Here are some stats I have right now. This article goes into detail for all minorities, and it breaks it down by African American, Native American, and etc. However, I'm going to be highlighting on African American women today, and the link will be below. I'm not going to be reading all of this, but I am going to read that it does say domestic violence occurs among all race, ethnicities, and socioeconomic classes. DV is a pattern of many behaviors directed at achieving and maintaining power and control over an intimate partner, such as physical violence, emotional abuse, isolation of the victim, economic abuse, intimidation, coercion, and threats. For women of color, high rates of poverty, poor education, limited job resources, language barriers, and fear of deportation increase their difficulty finding help and support services. Although there are unique circumstances within the context of a particular community of color, common factors and considerations exist which may account for underreporting DV by women of color and failure to seek appropriate help services. Some commonalities of women of color are a strong personal identification based on familiar structure, hierarchy, patriarchal elements, and cultural identity, role as wife, mother, and homemaker. Religious beliefs that reinforce the woman's victimization and legitimizes the abuser's behavior. Fear of isolation and alienation. A strong loyalty to both immediate and extended family, as well as loyalty to race and culture. The yoke of silence. Guarded trust and reluctance to discuss private matters. fear of rejection from family, friends, congregation, and community. Individual needs to often defer to family unity and strength. Distrust of law enforcement and fear of subjecting themselves and loved ones to a criminal and civil justice system they see as sexist and or racially and culturally biased. Skepticism and distrust that shelter and intervention services are not culturally or linguistically competent. And for immigrant and undocumented women, in particular, a fear or threat of deportation or separation from their children. For African American women, an estimated of 29.1% of African American females are victimized by intimate partner violence in their lifetime, rape, physical assault, or stalking. African American females experience intimate partner violence at a rate of 35% higher than that of white females and about 2.5 times the rate of women of other races. However, they are less likely than white women to use social services, batter women's programs, or go to the hospital because of domestic violence. According to the National Violence Against Women Survey, the NVAWS, African American women experience higher rates of intimate partner violence, partner homicide when compared to their white counterparts. Statistics show that African American women typically comprise about 70% of black congregations, religious convictions, and a fear of shame or rejection from the church may contribute to their remaining in an abusive relationship. As a result of historical and present day racism, African American women may be less likely to report their abuser or seek help because of discrimination, African Americans men vulnerability to police brutality and negative stereotyping, non-arrest of suspected abusers of African American women, and fear that police will exercise an abuse of power have contributed to African American women's reluctance to involve law enforcement. Stereotypes amplify the complexities of African American women encounter when trying to seek help services. Similar to what's going on right now. Myths that African American women are domineering figures that require control, or that African American women are exceptionally strong under stress and are resilient, increase their vulnerability and discourage some from speaking out about abuse. This relates to this situation as well. Culturally and historically, African American women have been looked to as the protectors of their family and community. Some women may feel because of their religious beliefs they must impart forgiveness for their abusers' behavior and endure the abuse due to religious obligations under Christian doctrine. This form of religious materialism or caretaking toward their spouse casts them as their husband's protectors and makes it more difficult for women to report their abuse or leave the abuser, which is another topic as well, because there's a lot going on with the black church, and they misinform people with the Christian doctrine. That could be a whole other video. That is not what women are supposed to be doing. They're not supposed to be the protector or the provider, technically, for biblically speaking. They're not supposed to be that. But that's another conversation as well. And these are the reasons why black women don't feel safe and they will not report it. And then you have other, I guess Drea is black enough to be considered black in America. You have women that are black and do not want to even protect or show any type of emotion or empathy for you. They make jokes about it. Black men are on Twitter cracking jokes about Megan Thee Stallion. And I'm not going to post those jokes into my video because it is not funny and this is not what I'm here to do. You can find those yourself, and I'm sure you watching have seen those jokes all over Twitter, memes and everything, trying to be like, oh, Megan got shot in her bunions and stuff like that. That's not cute. That's not funny. That's what these people are out here doing. And it's traumatizing. And these are the things that black women have to deal with no matter what your socioeconomic class. Megan Thee Stallion is a rich girl, rich young woman, hanging out with her rich friends. She raps about it. She lives it, okay? And people are trying to say that she was with the wrong crowd and she shouldn't have been there. Why are we victim blaming? Why are we victim blaming? We're always victim blaming. It's always an excuse for the men. It's always an excuse for men. Men are always being catered to by women, defended by men. It's always an excuse. The woman provoked it. And there's no protection. There's no anything for black women. And here's Megan's tweet about that. Her tweet reads that black women are so unprotected and we hold so many things in to protect the feelings of others without considering our own. It might be funny to y'all on the internet and just another messy topic for you to talk about, but this is my real life and I'm real life hurt and traumatized. I, as well as so many women out here, can relate to domestic violence in relationships. And, you know, this situation happened recently, but I feel like this is the perfect platform to expose how I feel. Because this situation has, I don't know if it's traumatized me or made me feel a way, but it seems as if no one cares about how I feel. And, you know, I can relate to how Megan is feeling because I'm living that no one cares about how black women feel. I was talking to somebody and I'm in my own space. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what happened, but this person that I trusted and knew for a year and a half, who showed me a completely different side of themselves for that entire year and a half, decided to put their hands on me twice. And instead of apologizing immediately, this person tries to blame me for it, and they're yelling at me on the phone and getting attitudes, and they're lying about it to our friends, and they're putting on a different facade for my parents, and yet they're talking sweet to my parents, trying to act like I'm sorry, but they come to me and they're yelling at me, saying things like, you better not lie to me, and stuff like that, when I'm trying to handle some business that we had to wrap up before I was officially done with this person. And you're talking to me like this, and you're lying to me, and you're treating me with no respect. But you can talk to my parents with respect, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, the reason I feel no one cared about how I felt about it was, well, I know I'm not the type of woman to go around crying and going, whoa, it's me. But I have feelings too. And I think people forget that. A couple friends have tried to, mutual friends have tried to message us, or me at least, and say, he's very sorry because he's crying on the phone like a child. And he's so sorry about it. And he's bullying everybody into trying to make them come at me to have me forgive him, which I do. You know, forgiveness is not for them, it's for me, it's for you, you know. But, you know, they're trying to, I don't know if they wanted me to take him back or what they wanted me to do, but they're trying to bully me into making me feel bad for him because he messed up. But what about me? I'm the one who got hurt. I'm the one who was betrayed by somebody I trusted and knew for such a long time. Nobody cares, even this person's family. I dropped off the rest of their stuff at their house, and this person's family knew he was absolutely wrong. They couldn't deny that, but they're still saying to me things like, you were so good for him. Is there anything he can do? And when someone puts their hands on you, there's nothing they can do to fix that. And the fact that I kept hearing, the common denominator I'm putting out here is, you were so good for him. What about him? He's so sorry. He's so sorry. He keeps apologizing. He's apologetic. And even from his side, I kept hearing, I, me. But what about me? What about Kariii? Okay, Kariii has feelings. She has a life she deserves to live, and she's going to live it without you. And yes, I'm putting that out here on this platform at this moment. Hasta un momento. I can absolutely relate. And, you know, people that know me and that know about the situation, some have made a couple jokes about it and tried to brush it off or not taking me seriously or anything like that. But it's very serious. And it's like, when you're a black woman, you're automatically seen as what, masculine? I don't know, like I could just pull up and fight a dude or something like that, you know? Like what? No, you know, we're very unprotected, but yet our people don't even want to protect us. And I find that very interesting, and that's why I wanted to put that out here in this video today. I can absolutely do a story time about that in a video with me on camera when I'm ready, but I do feel that does fit this situation. No one takes you serious. We are the most unprotected women, honestly, in the world, to be honest with you. Nobody cares. You know, it's like you don't have any feelings, and it's funny. Abuse is funny. Getting assaulted by someone you trust is funny. Your own friends, hence Drea, can make jokes about it and claim, oh, I want that type of love. That's not love. That is abuse. That is a sickness. Someone who is abusive is sick. Something is mentally wrong with them. Something is wrong with them in their character, their mind, spiritually, physically, them as a whole. Something is wrong with them. And it is not funny, and we should not be making jokes about it. And it happens to so many women I know, myself, Megan Thee Stallion of all people. People we know, your mothers, your sisters, your aunts, your grandmothers, all of us. So we all need to work together as a community to protect our women. That's one thing that keeps other communities together. They protect their women. And, you know, black men, this is my message to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We need to start protecting our women. And it's just that point blank period. I'm sorry if this video offends some of you. I'm going to keep it real on my platform. I'm not going to use profanity. And this is an open discussion. Please comment below. And it's not one-sided. Men get abused too. I actually talked about that in another video as well. And I can do a video on that. Men get abused too. It's not just one-sided. But, you know, my focus today is black women and women, period, are the victims more of abuse in relationships. So that is all I wanted to say for today. Thank you guys for watching. Again, as usual. And I will see you guys in my next video.
The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. And as Muslims, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to respect our women and to protect our women. And then the only
You only scared.